So,
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a Q.
Froggy.
All right.
Up and Adam. That's what I'm talking about. Gonna be another great show. Hopping in here in the a nice backup channel.
Yes.
A lot of you guys up in here. We already see David Woodruff. Nice. Got first mod in the room. You guys are awesome.
Let me get my there it is.
Got some interesting things to go over this evening. I'll say what's up to everybody.
What is up, everybody?
Hey, what's up? There we go.
We're just
definitely liking the liking the little format here. I got like the green background you got. I like the setup for sure. I like the little nice looking good.
what is everyone up to tonight? We are just jumping in to have a good time.
We're doing a little bit of garage talk earlier. We're everything from the English language to the literacy rate. So we cover a lot of crazy topics in garage talk when we get ready for these shows and things we get into, and so also talking about the still ongoing partial governmental shutdown. Let's see what we got going on. Trying to get the old budget rocking and rolling or not. See how that's going to go.
Getting lots of questions here. Thank you guys. Yeah, we're seeing the gear up, folks, towards a financial burst bubble, right? I mean, what have we been witnessing here?
Well, there's one cannot deny that something very huge is happening in our government even before we started the partial shutdown. You can call it different angles. It may look different ways and different angles like we talked about, but something is happening, and it's very hard to explain it away.
Yeah, it's so if we go into the history of any of the issues we've had, they say there's always an article I just did before this earlier talked about it's always been, man-made in sorts, whether it was let me see here, see if I can pull this back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely things that are man-made are a lot more devious than what our creators made, for sure.
So here we go. There was a quote I read from Thomas Jefferson. Let me get you back on here. Audio, there you are. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies.
Think about that, folks.
So then this article I had read earlier, how many times has it been said the deep state is the enemy of the people, the mainstream enemy of the people, CIA, FBI, DOJ, Democrats, rhinos, U.S. Congress, senior executive service, legal class. Each one is entirely true, as the election of Donald Trump has revealed. In fact, Trump tweets alone have exposed the whole bloody system for what it truly is. Just as tweets, folks. So a huge one to keep in mind is the Fed, especially central banks. Worldwide, they are the real enemy of the people. In fact, the whole world is now witnessing just how dangerous and deadly, reckless and feckless the Federal Reserve Bank Fed can be. So you got this chairman, Jerome Powell, who can intentionally trigger a stock market crash in real time. We're witnessing
any
it.
moment. Wow.
So the many bankster institutions, the current Rothschild crime syndicate, are only the latest incarnation of doctrine. So their whole, we've seen this before. They talk about the black nobility of northern Italy in the late 1200s, the Babylonian Brotherhood of ancient Middle East. All these systems have been tried and played with. So, see,
I mean, we've told you guys that the backbone, the Fed is what's bringing everything down. I mean, why do they use the eagle? It's not really an eagle. It's a phoenix. It's the sign of Rome. Central banking. It's.
So after
we
they
know
create
that's not
and
good.
fund, we talk about that. What they basically, people are like, why would they do that? Well, it's like when you get that big to where you play with the money that is created or not created for a country, and the more that you can make them borrow from you, the more your pockets get fatter, because it's based on debt. And so after they create a war, somebody where they'll finance both sides of the war, by the way, to keep it going as long as they can. Mm-hmm. Then after they finally do pull out, they rebuild. Countries like us, we normally will rebuild everything we blew apart to make it better and stronger for them. And then that gets borrowed.
New regimes got to be set up. Exactly. So it's
so
war.
They thrive on the war, then they thrive on the disaster after the fact. It's disaster capitalism at its finest, folks, is what it is, I believe. I mean, it's...
I would agree, and we've seen this real time with the Halliburton incident, other companies coming after the cleanup. We've seen this in World War I, World War II. These same financial families not only sold the bullets and the bandages, but also gave loans to each country involved to finance, and worked in tandem with the fuel to sell to each side to generate and keep the war machine going. And then when one country failed and Germany had to pay reparation, the likes of which could never be ever paid, who do you think they had to borrow their money from? The same people that gave them the money in the first place. So if you bring this down, it has ripples effects. This is where it affects the trajectory. I mean, and we've hit on this subject a few episodes now, obviously because it's in our forefront. It's no longer hearsay of history and something to remember because it could happen in the future. It's happening now. And I think that's why we've been kind of focusing on this as well, because what can the shutdown bring in the aspects of not just people are going to get paid. The federal employees, they're going to get paid. It's not like it's a huge thing. You don't work, you don't volunteer for the government. You're going to get furloughed. You may not get paid on time. Meyer Amschel Rothschild. Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws.
Ain't that the truth? They figured that out a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the illusion comes in, folks. The grand illusion. You think you're running stuff, and that there tells you it.
Well, and I mean, we're not talking to pull your, hey, you're going to do this, and my money, get cash stocked up. If it's, look what happened in Germany when the Deutschmark dropped. It cost 1 million Deutschmarks to buy a loaf of bread. People were burning Deutschmarks because the German hyped up Central Bank of Germany couldn't produce enough paper, and people were literally burning it to keep their houses warm.
It was cheaper to burn than to buy something with it to burn.
You can't. Yeah, exactly. Cash. You're talking that's a reset. I mean, so. When
they were under
we're
the
talking
same
about
system, folks. So we've seen this system go away because
who did the Nazis borrow their money from to build the tanks and regime? Who did Stalin borrow his money from to get the Russian regime up and going? Well, then who did America borrow its money from? And who did Britain borrow its money from? We can go on and on and on. And so it's like, if everybody's borrowing money, who are they borrowing money from? Well, the international monetary cabal of central bankers, pretty much run by a handful of men.
Yeah, with that don't typically share the same ideals is us, all right, folks? So it's kind of like, this is where we get into that globalism versus nationalism. Do you want a one world, new world type thing, or do you want to have, sovereignty, be a country? You have to decide that. Only you would know what you feel. The programming all these years have led up to about this point, I guess.
Well, this is a classic design. Some of the things that the Matrix movie is a lot of individuals reference that because it's a common ground. People can they can grasp on and get the idea, but it's the delusion is so incredibly strong that what we're talking about is a small little tiny pinhole in the whole entire veil of illusion. And there's many parts and pieces in that comprise that veil of illusion. And you poke just one of them and you're going to peek through to the other side. Mike and I have always said, it doesn't matter what rabbit hole or what eddy we stay in. It kind of always comes to the end result of Luciferianistic ideals, the globalism, one world religion, one world language, one world currency, versus each individual's a king. You retain rights that was given to you by the Creator, God, our Father. It's the duality. People just don't understand the basic idea of you either are a king by God, or you're given that power to a man who's walking around who bleeds just like you. That's what it basically boils down to.
So just to finish up on all this, we'll move on to something else. What do they get the final, well, here you go. A couple of points here. So December 2018, the month of the huge happenings. Hold on. 2018, the year the Fed exposed itself. So now it talks about they're just doing stuff in broad daylight. They've been called out all year by Trump, his tweets. Oh, let me get your mic back on, Ben. There you go.
Nice. Yes, yep. Exactly.
Deep state busting initiatives. Key point. The Federal Reserve Bank is not federal. It's supranational. There's no reserve. It's actually in deep debt. The Fed is really not even a bank. It's a printing press that makes Federal Reserve notes, which are debt instruments, not assets, with real value out of thin air.
Read your Federal Reserve notes. You pull out that dollar bill.
It'd be cool if I could
read
find
the writing
one that
on
is
there.
actually backed. Some of you, like myself, have probably some silver certificates. They're actually tell you something different on there. That was
or if you have like the $2 bills that predate like the early 1900s and things like that. That still says this is redeemable for its value in gold or silver.
Go ahead and read this last part here, Ben, all the way down.
The POTUS really has one option. Dun, 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 to kick butt and take names. The POTUS has only one option at the critical point of U.S. history. Military tribunals, why they are absolutely necessary. So this is State of the Nation, December 24th, 2018. Let's see here. Sorry about that. And no, it's excerpt from the Economic Armageddon and the Financial Apocalypse are upon us. This is a disclaimer. It is the Federal Reserve System, and it is fatally flawed practice of debt-driven fractional reserve banking that is the object of our scorn and discern. Likewise, it is a Federal Reserve Bank, the Fed, that deserves our condemnation, and swearing criticism. Why? Because the Fed is not legitimate. It is not a properly constituted or correctly legislated organ of the government. And it's actually a privately owned consortium of banking agents whose ownership is more foreign than domestic. The Fed is legally unfit to conduct business on behalf of the American people, since as a private entity, it lacks the congressional oversight necessary when appropriating funds have been allocated by the legislative branch of the government. The printing presses of the Fed produces notes, as in promissory notes, which are nothing but, we gotta scroll up a little bit, instruments of indebtedness for all who possess them. Not too unlike credit cards. Actually, therefore, the money that it prints is counterfeit. It is suppressing that an international, privately owned crime syndicate which issues fake money would be the biggest player in the worldwide funny money monopoly game that is bringing the entire world of commerce, finance, and business to a virtual standstill. We are talking about the greatest ongoing financial crisis in recorded history, and the Fed is institutionally public enemy number one, responsible for this multi-decade crime spree. Wow.
Wow, that's what I said when I read it.
Yeah, it's crazy because how true is that? It's incredibly true.
So there was so again, folks, I read this full article in the last video. I'm sure some of you checked it out. So now earlier, let's see here.
Sorry about that, folks. Had to get some
We're
things
all
out
good.
here.
It's Friday.
There's been a couple of Kimberly Bauer, U.S. gold is held in Fort Knox. I can't say that for sure. I don't know if anybody can unless you're in the Fort Knox. I believe you're right. I think it is in Kentucky. I know that they let the reporters in there, I think in the early 90s, I believe, to do a couple. I think there was a little, is there really gold in Fort Knox? And so I think they did a little a media excerpt on it. And I think that was the last time we saw any real gold, but even then it was a small room, I believe, and they just were able to see and peek inside. That's kind of, we don't know. I know that the Q drops have said that we have gold, and that's going to destroy the Fed. Again, I don't know. That can't be proven or disproven. I want to hope that there is gold in the Fed. I do know that we do hold other countries' gold in our Fed. So, and we know that they've hold like the crown, precious jewelries and precious crowns from other countries in the Fort Knox before. So
now the Fed building
again,
is
I don't know.
in New York, right? It's underneath the Chase Bank that has the tunnel that goes over across the street to the Fed. There's like a Chase Bank tunnel.
They were there is that in New York, I believe, but
That's
I think
private
she was talking
people.
about the Fort Knox.
Okay, Fort
that's in
Knox.
Kentucky. That's actually outside, but there is one. Yes, the Chase Bank. There is, I believe. Now, of course, it was mainstream media who put this out, which was, I think it was the History Channel, the Book of Secrets or something like that. It was a mini series they put out. I think they did like the gold. Where's the gold? And they had a couple of hypotheses.
Wrong information.
So again, it's not really a validated source that we would say yes, that's true because I saw it on TV.
There you go.
Although a lot of people say that about a lot of things. So, put it to you like this, people. If you're gonna based on gold, it's really precious metals, gold and silver, and we still got a lot of gold mines. There's still a lot of silver mines. There's still a lot of stuff in that we have natural resources. It can also be based off of other metals as well. I mean, there's not just. I mean, of course, this is beyond what I would. I'm not, a constitutional framer. That's not my area of expertise.
Well, again,
but we know that
I've heard so we've all heard that the world. We were just talking about Bill Barr, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Bill Burr, the comedian.
We heard something that we both didn't agree with. It was going on and on about the world's overpopulated, and they need to do this, do that. We need to let the earth heal. We're a cancer to it. We've heard this time and time again. Now we've heard we're really overpopulated. How many people have heard that? Oh, we're getting to a point where people are just falling off. There's not enough room. There's an interesting thing going around several years ago, and the state of Texas alone, you can put all 7 billion people on the planet in the state of Texas, and everyone can have 1 acre. And we know that wouldn't be the case because out of the 7 billion plus, a lot of them are kids, babies, kids that need to live with the adult.
Their families, yeah.
So that wouldn't even take up that much room. There would be a couple per acre. So therefore it would get more, and I would think the way that the media pitches it, that it would be just people on top of people up to the moon, but not the case. So, and then the other angle of that would be, so people cramming. I had another good little, the gold, the amount of gold that we've uncovered. They say is only the amount of a tennis court. A tennis court,
I think stacked 4 feet on it, high,
and 20, maybe 20 feet. They said, or so many skyscrapers tall, but it wasn't a very high. It wasn't very high.
Yeah, the amount of actually.
Now that'd be solid, solid, but.
Anime says, "Careful, Mike. You were describing redistribution of wealth." Well, I maybe I don't know what you're saying. Now I don't think. Well, there was just a commenter says, "Careful, Mike. Anime," which is I respect all of them. It says redistribution of wealth. Well, I don't know if you were saying redistribution of wealth. I think you were talking more along the lines of what they're telling you. If what we have gold. Then we have gold. Okay, I guess we gotta trust them like we've trusted them for everything else. I don't know. We haven't physically been there. Kind of like when we have discussions about being rocket fighter pilots. I'm not a rocket fighter pilot. Now I can do a lot of research and I can become very educated on that topic, but I can never really have a firsthand knowledge of what it's like inside a jet fighter in a dogfight. I can have simulated, but if I was never really in that experience, I would really never know actually how it is. I can read all about it. So you can put that in the same thing as a Fed, or even if you have a status of wealth, it's still, it can't be, it's more speculative. And the distribution of wealth, that's still based on the Fed. Because what is wealth based on?
Anime put at Mike Texas land thing I meant. No, I wasn't talking about redistributing anybody into Texas. I was just saying, let me say this again.
There's a hypothetical.
Some people like to claim, that there's an overpopulation of the world happening. We got 7 billion people on this planet. And when they say overpopulation, I guess that's compared to maybe the resources or something, or what they're trying to put in your head. But I always took it to be like we're getting not enough elbow room, that we're getting overpopulated. Now I know it is like that in some countries where they're really small and they got a lot of people there, so they can feel like that. But that's just because all them people are migrated there and they won't leave. There's plenty of room. What I was saying, you could take all 7 billion people from around the world. Not that we're going to do this. You can take all 7 billion and put them into the state of Texas, and they could all have 1 acreage of land, and there'd still be land left over in Texas that's uninhabitable. But the inhabitable land, it's just something that somebody put together, and it's quite interesting.
So it's comparison. Yes, it's letting you know
that the
in
whole
this example
world
that
could live. All the people could live in Texas.
Yeah.
That's
So the overpopulation, i.e., global warming due to man's footprint, all that good stuff, and the Earth is dying, and there's not enough land for us to live on anymore. All that's a fallacy. It's an untruth, because just what Mike gave in that typical example. So yes, when we talk about what's happening with our economy, I mean, you got to understand America, the United States, we are very rich in natural resources, natural gas, coal. I mean, all this kind of stuff.
who wants to live in Texas with all the illegals? No, thank you. No, and again, no. And we wouldn't want all 7 billion people put into Texas. We're not talking about that. That was just an example of how underpopulated the world is, or how much room there really is, how much square footage, how much real estate that this place has, all right? So it's all that is, folks. Don't look into it too much. Here, let's jump to the different topic. Go ahead and read this headliner. Oh, let me get your mic on now. There's your mic. There you go. Go ahead.
Nice. Rudy Giuliani says Robert Mueller must be investigated after allowing Spygate evidence to be destroyed, according to naturalnews.com, December 28th, 2018.
So
he's doing the
Natural News last week, a report by the National Centennial noted that the U.S. attorney appointed by former Attorney General Jeff Sessions in April to investigate the Clinton Foundation, the FBI's probe of Hillary Clinton, and other aspects of the Justice Department's involvement in Spygate, had yet to produce anything. The gist of the report, read more. So they're saying that he allowed a bunch of stuff to be destroyed. Old Mueller, you know, as much as he's hitting up the Trump campaign and digging into people for 8 years ago things, you know, crimes from 8 years ago, and he's allowed to all right, let me see here. Nope.
Wow. He can just dump that stuff and nobody cares. It's like, oh, hey, he's... Wow.
So last week, a report by the National Centennial noted U.S. appointed attorney, I just read that. The report suggested that Huber appointment was just a head fake, as one attorney called it. Look at that.
A head fake.
Wow, that came up. A ruse to make it look as though the current administration was serious about the investigation. Alleged criminal activity on part of the Clintons and the deep state actors. In reality, we're no closer to getting justice than we were before Huber was appointed, which makes presidential lawyer Rudy Giuliani's call for special counsel Robert Mueller to be held accountable for a potential violation of the law almost comical. Specifically, the OIG's cyber was asked to attempt to recover those missing texts. Folks, unbelievable. Unbelievable. That they had a little guisey. So, Twitter bashes Queen over video in front of gold piano urging subjects to pull together. That's Queen. Let's read some headlines here. High-ranking cabal members haven't been heard from. This is a, look at that.
Whoa, that's another thing. Yeah, like I haven't heard Hillary, these guys.
That's a good true reporting right there. We got a video channel up here. Definitely. So high-ranking cabal members haven't been heard from. No tweets, no post, nothing. X-22 report, episode 1751, finger pointing, everything is going as planned. Huge UFO flying over San Juan. UFO? Or maybe something else. All right, so here's what we saw earlier. David Wilcock, the mass sealed indictments are ready.
They're ready.
I had said something earlier about him, and somebody got really mad. And we lost a subscriber over it. And all I said, folks, is that he channels and talked to Ra and made a whole book about it, a whole series on YouTube. You could find them. That's all I said, and I don't believe in that stuff. And somebody got really mad and told me to take it back. And I said, what? Take what back? That he made a book about Ra? He did. That would be lying. I'm not going to take it back. So
hey, there's
I don't
a
know
lot
the guy,
of individuals.
you know.
Yeah, that. Hey, a lot of individuals believe a lot of different things. They have a lot of religious backgrounds that can all get behind Q and wanting a better America and giving the power back to the people. Now, what this guy does in his personal time and his personal beliefs, I don't agree with it. But I don't have any ill feelings or ill will towards the man himself. Just don't agree with some of his personal beliefs.
Was it Fluid Pour Art by Greg's birthday?
Hey, happy birthday. Fluid Pour Art by Greg.
Maybe. I don't know. Somebody said give a shout out to Greg. I think. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm seeing it now. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday. Fluid Pour Art by Greg. 42 years young. Happy birthday to you. All right, so did a video over that one earlier, I believe. Folks, we don't know what, and this is interesting. I haven't watched it. I'm not going to lie. I don't do a lot of watching, but something like this. I don't know if it links to an article or where he got that from, but there you go. His video is up. High-ranking cabal members haven't been heard from. That's interesting. Let me see here. Greg, you're awesome. Patriot, we love you.
Super awesome.
L's in the room. Amy, Kimberly, Carpenter, Jack Rooney. Fluid Pour. Yay, no. Watch your Twitter over the weekend. Sario. Why did Q post him? We are laser. So yeah, to talk about that, I guess somebody wants to bring it up. Watch your Twitter. I don't know, this guy. I'm telling you guys, we basically, it's just like, I don't know. I've done posts over, we've talked about it, Serial Brain, and then Neon Revolt, and then this is probably the third or fourth person that's, you know, other than reading them really, sometimes is reading the black and white page, which is one thing. Sometimes you make a video, it gives a different perspective, gets more people to sit back. You're just trying to share the word. And this guy got really mad about it. I found out through a bunch of people tweeting me shortly after the video, you took that, you stole this, you should have done this way, and told me everything, how I should have, woulda, and coulda. And I said, no hard feelings, never again. So, we were saying it earlier, where we go one, we go all. Unless your name is Paul. And there's that.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know.
So, there you have it. Hashtag, where we go one, we go all. Unless your name is Paul. No, we don't want to say that. We're not trying to. We don't even want to go there, folks. It don't even matter. Don't even matter.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is we're trying
That's
to get
right.
this truth out to as much people as we can. And if there's resistance, if we're stepping on toes, hey, so be it in some aspects, because I think the truth is a little bit bigger than people's emotions and their feelings, especially on the cusp of what's happening now. And we'll keep on driving on. And hey, we fall down, we'll get back up, we'll keep on going and going. I think that's what it's about. And we haven't, Mike and I have said this many times in Garage Talk, we haven't had people like, that Patriot Hour, have like real crazy drama in the fact, because we just not into that kind of thing here. And we'll keep on driving on and pursuing the truth and trying to get it out to as many people in as many platforms as we possibly can. That's why I always like, share, subscribe, get it out, ring the bell, hit the thumbs up, get just as much people as you possibly can. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, it is. Again, folks, we didn't do it maliciously. Taking a look back, it's like, when you're gathering the Serial Brain or Neon Revolt, some of his photos have like Neon Revolt written in it. So by nature, it's put up. I normally grab the top photo of the people's articles out of 700 videos. I've probably only done this 5 to 10 times at the most. Really been inspired by a good article to even take the time to redo it.
Yeah.
And you figure over on that platform you're going to capture as many people. When people put up something to Twitter, what do people normally do? They retweet it. You're taking exactly their thing and putting it over on yours, but I get that it links back to that person, gives them recommendation or credit. And so maybe I could have been a little done the thing in the beginning, said it like, oh, this is a great article by this guy. That might have been the seal for the deal for him. I don't know. I didn't. And I, again, don't have a platform. I've done it for Serial Brain before, and I haven't done it for Serial Brain before. Always in the description, though, is a link. And
again, hey, you've taken news clips, and we kind of assume that he's taking a clip from the news. They're not, you don't see the news suing us over copyrights because they'd be having a lot of lawsuits. Man, this is just kind of, one of them. And of course, we're not talking about a lawsuit at all. I'm just saying the copyright thing and blah, blah, blah. Hey, we're doing the best we can to get the information out to a lot of people. We talked in Garage Talk. A lot of people don't do a lot of this research. They just purely come on and they watch the Patriot Hour and other YouTube channels to really get their nightly news. So,
well, like you said,
we're aware of that.
This guy is evidently following the queue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
getting linked to all the articles that we are, and then all that is given, and then you come to a pretty good conclusion. Again, you took a bunch of pictures from around the internet and you post them, and then how much creative work do you get or give? And then in the fact of what I did, that was a whole nother creative aspect to it, because it takes time. It wasn't like but in the bottom line, I side almost with them in the fact that they look at it as I stole something, and if that's what they landed on, who am I to tell them no, I did not? That wasn't the intention. So, and again, if Serial Brain would have had an issue when the one guy asked months ago, and no, I don't want anybody, I probably wouldn't do it out of just respect that it is something they've done. So if you have an issue, I have no problem not.
If a photographer takes a picture and that's a copyright photograph, and the photographer goes the right steps to make it his own private property, and this is his livelihood, then that's very understandable. We're talking about YouTube videos, you guys. We're just a couple of broke veterans with some computer machines spitting some truth out to you guys.
The whole thing is, and this whole movement got me caught up with this. Information is free, share it. So I thought anyone involved in the community, it was just the way we did it. Hey, again, there's a lot of people that are just a lot of different people. That's all. I don't know this guy's background. Does anyone know where he's from? What is it somebody from the States? What are we dealing with?
Hey, I think the bottom line is we got some good patriots, and we know we got trolls. We know they're out. The Patriot Hour is awesome. This Patriot Tech, with you guys coming here, Mike and I always say you guys are like our core group of our diehard loyalists. You guys are gonna be supporting the truth with us, come hell or high water, which is awesome. That's why we love it. We love you guys. And it's interesting because you get a taste of all things. We're going to see a little bit of trolls coming. We're going to see a little bit of shadow banning. We saw stuff that's going on with the Patriot Hour. Mike has gone over that many episodes on the issues we've had there, of course, and the team has been trying to work hard at that as well. But it's I think it's just kind of par for the course. If you're wading in the swamp area, you're going.
You seen this yet? You can keep talking. Look at this. Check it out.
Oh, like
it's 22 hours ago in New York, right? I think it was New York. NYC blue light.
Whoa. Wow. A little bit of Independence Day. Man, that's crazy.
Wow. Looks real doomsday-ish.
It does. Wow.
Here we go.
Wow. Different angle. This is tripping. This was like just 22 hours ago. With all them clouds, it reminds me of like some crazy rave in the desert. It's like a bunch of LED lights getting shot up into the clouds, and like it illuminates the clouds.
Look at that, dude.
Wow. That's
People
bright.
are all frozen in the streets.
What?
What do you guys think of all this?
That's crazy, you guys. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. All right.
I like how the last one you put it, that light was like really, really bright. Like people like were walking up onto it, man. It was like, wow, wow, wow.
All right, let's see here.
I don't know what to say to that. That one's pretty crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that I don't know what to think of that either. They're saying it's a transformer. I'm sure they.
I mean, if they were doing any types of,
Yeah, it was a
directed
explosion.
energy weapons or lasers or things like that, you guys, you'd be seeing a lot more destruction from it. That looks like a light show or something crazy. That's crazy. I mean,
I was waiting for like Optimus Prime to jump out of some of that foot. The crazy looking. Thought
More
they'd show
than
some
meets
footage
the
of
eye.
Optimus Prime sacrificing himself for the sake of humanity.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, who knows what that is? But I mean, I don't see any type of explosions after that. And normally, lasers that are like that bright and powerful usually burn stuff. So I think it looks. Who knows what that was? Who could have been? Definitely crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. All right, get out of here. 12 hours ago, not much tweeting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be forced to close the southern border entirely if obstructionist Democrats do not give us some money to finish the wall and also change the ridiculous immigration laws that our country is saddled with. Hard to believe there was a Congress and president who would approve. They're saying like Pelosi went on vacation. Like she's down in Florida right now. Let me see here.
Just living it up.
Yeah. Living it up for sure.
Yeah, because she's about ready to be cutting it short here soon.
Pull this up. All right, here we go. This is a pretty good one, folks.
Nice.
In this country, and especially with this midterm elections. And Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has been an outspoken critic of President Trump's policies.
Thanks to the president's actions, we've seen a crisis unfolding on our southern border and across the country. Crisis was willfully and purposefully created by this president through his zero-tolerance policy at the border. We all know how we got here. The situation's a big mess.
Right, yeah, how did we get here, and where did you stand? But Schumer hasn't always sounded so opposed to illegal immigration. Here with a look back is Director of Policy Studies for the Center for Immigration Studies, Jessica Vaughn. Hey, Jessica.
Hi, good morning.
Jessica, I am amazed when I look back at some of the comments Harry Reid made on the Senate floor, how much he is like where the Republicans are at today. And now we're finding that Chuck Schumer said exactly the same things as President Trump does in 2018.
That's right. I mean, it's amazing to see this because, you know, I've been at this on the immigration issue for almost 30 years, and it wasn't as politicized as it is today. Right. It's never been a Democrat-Republican issue until recently. It's been more of a Main Street, Wall Street type thing. And, you know, it's a shame, really. We used to have civil rights leaders like Barbara Jordan supported and endorsed and promoted the kinds of policies that President Trump is now trying to enact.
But Jessica, just to back up your theory and how.
Yeah, it's crazy. See, I don't think this whole thing's about just the border, folks. We know it's,
yes, exactly.
I think keeping the optics of it. I mean, it is, you know, it's not, here we go.
That their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Now they like to use the word undocumented because it's more political. I don't use that word. They're illegal immigrants. They came over illegally. Some are wonderful people and they've been here for a while. They got to go out.
It's the same, they have the same philosophy. Who's telling?
See, they got the same philosophy. That's what he's, telling
Not the
them.
truth, but the same philosophy. It's crazy, people. Crazy. Crazy.
Taking down the economy was part of their plan all along. Trump just put a kink in their plan. Yes, exactly. That's the whole thing here, folks. We think that... Now, again, for years, people are like, well, all politicians say things and they don't do it. Well, none of them have called out the things that Trump has called out. Typically, they lie about taxes and other things that will benefit the people. It's never really
they have
never really said,
they have whipping boys set up. Yes.
So think about that. And not only has he been calling them out, he set up a lot of laws that directly coordinate with what he said, and now we're seeing things happen. I don't know. I don't think we're going to come out of this shutdown without having some things taken care of. I mean,
you know, I would agree. There's some things that are going to be coming out in this wash. At least at the very most. I think today is day 7 or day 7 or 8. I don't know what you guys let us know in the comments below here on the live chat.
So 10 is right on the 31st. Is that right? Is today day 7 of the shutdown? And then 8 is Saturday, 9 Sunday, 10 on Monday, and then we go to the 1st of the year on Tuesday.
Very interesting. I don't know if we're on day 7 or 8. It would make a difference. Seeing how there's 31 days this month.
Yep. 16 hours ago.
Okay.
Government shutdown day 7. This is earlier today.
So, all right. So it's 7 days of shutdown. Nice, nice. So think about that. So think about the 10 days of darkness. Is that, hey, is that with the governmental shutdown? I mean,
I had a video on that. 10 days of darkness is the government shutdown. We're going to be shut down for 10. Or do we stay shut down and day 11 is, who knows?
Well, like we say, that also like an informational darkness as well as in the shutdown, because we don't know what's happening, what's going on with the tribunals, this and that. We have no idea. That's why after I think it's gonna be nice to come up afterwards. Yes, I mean the January 1st, the executive order we talked about goes into effect.
Being shut down for the weekend is different from being shut down like it is now. Somebody put the government's always shut down on the weekend or Saturday.
Well, no. Well, that actually, let's be more descriptive. Is people have time off? People do. People do work the weekends. They're
Yep. There's shifts.
we talked about the
depending on what you do.
non-essential crew.
Yeah. Yep. The EO we talked about had videos back in March. We went over all these EOs, folks. Some of them, yep, the one goes into effect January 1st. Nice. We should have 3.5 days of shutdown left.
Right.
So Schumer or Pelosi was in Hawaii. Wow, Trump was in D.C. all alone.
Oh, was he?
Trump came out and said he's not going to be going to
Hours after
Largo or whatever.
Key Largo.
Yeah, for New Year's he's going to be staying in D.C.
And then he shows up in Iraq. So
Be forced to take this here.
now, Kitty, just real quick here, Mike. We don't know. Hey, be prepared for at least 120 days. It can last that long. I mean, yeah, it can last a long time, but we've went over that as well. There's a couple episodes. Maybe you want to go back and check out a couple of episodes that kind of go over that preparation, stuff like that. It's really good. So just give a little shout out to you. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, no, I was just looking at tweets here. Nothing major. Here he says it himself. This isn't about the wall. Everybody knows that a wall will work perfectly. In Israel, the wall works 99% of the time. This is only about the Dems not letting Donald Trump and the Republicans have a win. They may have 10 Senate votes, but we have the issue. Border security. Providing closing. $13,825. During the funding lapse, federalregister.gov is not being supported. If data feeds are not available from GPO, Federal Register Gov will not be updated. So please use the official edition. So this is executive order. It was signed in 84. And yeah, right here, January 1st, 2019, that would go into effect right at 12 AM or 0 100. All right. So yeah, a lot of the amendments don't add on, folks. Like everyone stated, we've known, we've said it. Just coming to make sure. Right there, you got dates. All right, we'll take a couple of things here and we'll shut this down.
Yeah, like we were saying, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this does play about this 10 days of darkness when it comes in January 1st. A lot of activation on these executive orders is going to come into play. A lot of things will happen, but again, I don't think that they're going to still have power. You're just going to have some municipalities. The grocery stores are still going to have food on there. I mean, it's not like it's going to go to a crazy panic. I mean, it's interesting as I just went shopping. It isn't like it's food's flying off the shelf and it's a partial shutdown. Oh my gosh, it's going crazy. I mean, it's interesting. People go more buying food crazy when you get like a storm's coming, like in our neck of the woods. If you know, like a good snowstorm or a rainstorm's coming, you tend to do a little bit extra shopping. I mean, that's when we get the shelves low around here, is when the snowstorm comes.
Well, and it says, you know, it's like, folks, I'd never tell you to sit there and put all your trust in, and I'm not telling you now, but if you're following along with the queue and you happen to, you know, kind of have seen it all and kind of understand what the common thing here is, they have taken all precautions. Everything's been thought about. So there is nothing left to chance. They made sure safeguards are in on food and shelves, going to have the food stocked. And there's not going to be any chance of, you know, just crazy. They're not just do things like shooting by the hip and, you know, a bunch of casualties of war are going to be the downfall.
Yeah.
So yes, prepare, always have your, you know, food for at least a minimum of a few weeks. The more the merrier. Don't let it, you know, drive your life into the ground, but take your precautions and always, you know, be prepared for you and your family, and make sure you do, you know, count heads and you know how many you have, and just take all the necessary precautions for just, you know, plan on, like, you know, your power going out because of a bad snowstorm or something in your area. Or if you don't have snow, you know, just make up something, you know, tornado hit and took out some
Yeah, I mean,
lines.
you know,
But just
anybody
prepare,
could
you
be,
know.
hey, there's nothing wrong. And Mike and I, yes, of course, you can use any excuse you want for, you know, yeah, Karen Hack, beer and popcorn, you know, there you go. Hey, it never hurts to have a little bit more than you need if you can afford it. A lot of people, this is above and beyond extracurricular food. I mean, we understand. Being aware of this, hey, you know what's happening, where to go, and what to do. Have a plan. I mean, even just something as simple as what did Trump tell us last month? Have a fire plan. If you know, I mean, November was National Emergency Preparation Awareness Month or whatever I don't know what the exact proclamation. Was it in September?
Well, he put out the proclamation in September, I believe. So I don't know if it was coming for October or August or August, September,
or November.
Yeah, it might have been.
But he had told us even as something as simple as, hey, if your house, have like a fire plan for your family to how to get out of your house, or if you get separated, have a meeting point. Just simplistic stuff that would always benefit. It can never make you dumber if you do these things, you know.
So, all right, we'll close her down. I'd say thanks for joining us. We got some good.
Yes.
I got these recorded. Probably put them up to. I got one from yesterday. We did. I want to get up to the Patriot Hour. We went over some really good stuff. I was just unfortunately out and about today. So, other than that, folks, have a great evening. We really glad you stopped by, joined us, and God bless, Godspeed each and every one of you worldwide. Where we go one, we go all. Have a great, blessed evening. Ben,
Yes,
any final words?
Godspeed. Yeah, no, I just, you know, God bless all you guys. We're keeping this together, and we're a team, and we're trying to do the right thing and go in the right trajectory. That's all we're trying to do. God bless. Definitely share this to a lot of people and have them share it, and share and subscribe and help us get this word out to as many people as we can, because who knows how long we're going to be able to be doing this on this platform.
We'll be here as long as we can.
Yep.
Good night.
You know what letter that is, Grover?
I think so.
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a Q.
You found it?